The Upanishads are foundational texts of human philosophy, and many of them discuss liberation, moksha, as the ultimate goal of human life. They delve into the nature of liberation, its types, and the paths leading to it. The Upanishads give clarity to different aspects or types of liberation, which is often elaborated later in Vedanta philosophy through the ancient teachers. This presentation is only a pointer to the Upanishads that extensively discuss liberation and their variants. Liberation, as understood from the Upanishads, is freedom from ignorance, desire, and samsara, the cycle of birth and death. This subject is covered in various Upanishads, including Muktikopanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, etc. In fact, most of the Upanishads will touch upon this subject in some context or other. In Upanishads, there are no blind promises, nor do they thrust upon a belief system. It greatly encourages self-inquiry, contemplation at every stage, analyzing the known to arrive at the various possibilities of the unknown. Most important pointer of the Upanishads. The concept of liberation, moksha, is deeply echoed in the teachings of ancient philosophers and spiritual masters, each offering distinct yet complementary visions. The three great acharyas, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Madhvacharya, through their profound commentaries and writings, have explored and clarified the nature of liberation with key reference to Upanishadic verses. Shankaracharya teaches that liberation is not a transition from one state to another, but a revelation, the dissolution of illusion, and the recognition that the self is none other than Brahman. In this realization, all duality dissolves, and what remains is pure awareness. Ramanujacharya envisions liberation as union without identity, a blissful state of eternal communion with the Supreme Being Vishnu. The soul retains its individuality and serves the Lord in loving devotion, bhakti. Moksha here is not absorption but closeness, marked by intimacy and grace. Madhvacharya asserts that liberation is the soul's attainment of its rightful position as the eternal servant of Vishnu. The distinction between the Jiva and Paramatma remains eternally real. Through unwavering devotion and divine grace, the soul enters into everlasting joy in the Lord's presence. With this brief introduction, we now turn to selected Upanishadic passages that speak directly to the path of liberation. The Upanishads hint at different aspects or types of liberation, often elaborated by the ancient and later teachers. Jivan Mukti, it is liberation while living, is attained when one realizes their true nature while still in the physical body. Texts like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad elaborate this aspect. Such a liberated soul remains detached, unshaken by worldly events. Videha Mukti, it is liberation after death. It occurs when the physical body is shed and never returning to the cycle of birth and death. Chandogya Upanishad and Katha Upanishad highlights this. Krama Mukti, this refers to gradual liberation, step-by-step journey. It is achieved by those who follow the path of meditation, upasana, and ascend to higher realms, as stated in the Chandogya Upanishad. Sadhyo Mukti, it is about instant liberation. It is attained instantly through the direct realization, often equated with Advaita Vedanta's self-realization. It is highlighted in the Mandukya Upanishad. The Muktikopanishad, a significant text among the minor Upanishads, explicitly addresses liberation, moksha, and its various forms. It is unique because it provides a structured roadmap for spiritual liberation and recommends various Upanishads as a means to achieve the highest realization. The Muktikopanishad presents a dialogue between Rama and Hanuman, where Rama emphasizes the study of the Upanishads as the ultimate means to attain liberation. The Kaivalya Mukti through Upanishadic knowledge at chapter 1 verse 26 categorizes the 108 Upanishads into different groups for seekers at various spiritual levels. Direct knowledge of Mandukya Upanishad alone is sufficient for attaining liberation because it encapsulates the essence. If the knowledge is not awakened, Lord Rama recommends study of 10 principal Upanishads for a deeper understanding. If it is still not sufficient, then Lord Rama recommends study of 32 Upanishads and then turn inward for those seeking Videha Mukti. At chapter 1 verse 29, Lord Rama advises Hanuman to study all 108 Upanishads. In short, the 108 Upanishads destroy the three obstacles: the Loka Vasana pertaining to the body, the Shastra Vasana connected to the mind, and the Deha Vasana related to the senses. The Muktikopanishad highlights various approaches to liberation which align with broader Vedantic teachings. Jnana Yoga, path of knowledge. Liberation comes through the direct realization, the eternal truth, by transcending ignorance through knowledge. Bhakti Yoga, path of devotion. In this path, liberation can be attained through surrender and devotion. Meditation and self-enquiry. It involves meditative practices. Focusing on the essence of the self leads to direct experience. Mundaka Upanishad is considered a primary Upanishad within the Atharva Veda and known for its expounding the essence of the knowledge and reality. It states in chapter 1 that liberation is achieved through knowledge, jnana, about self and the ultimate reality. It distinguishes between two types of knowledge in section 1, mantra 4. Paravidya, higher knowledge, knowledge that is leading to liberation. Aparavidya, lower knowledge, knowledge of rituals and worldly matters. Liberation is described as the state where one transcends ignorance and becomes one with the ultimate. This Upanishad is associated with the concept of Satyameva Jayate, which translates to truth alone triumphs, and it is the national motto of India. The Muktikopanishad categorizes liberation into 4 types, offering a detailed understanding of how moksha manifests for spiritual seekers. First being Salokya Mukti, this type of liberation involves living in the same realm as the chosen deity. It is a state of divine proximity where the devotee is free from material bondage but perceives duality, separation between the self and the deity. Salokya Mukti is attained through deep devotion, bhakti, and adherence to dharma. Now we move on to Samipya Mukti. In this form, the liberated soul achieves closeness to God, not just living in the same realm, but enjoying personal nearness and intimacy with the deity. It emphasizes the joy of being in divine companionship while maintaining a subtle sense of individuality. The third category being Sarupya Mukti. In this, liberation grants the devotee the same form as the deity, signifying a transformation of the individual into the likeness of the divine being they worship. It is a state of profound unity, though it retains a subtle sense of individuality. Next, we go over to Sayujya Mukti. This is the highest form of liberation where the soul merges completely with the deity or Brahman, losing all individual identity. Sayujya Mukti aligns with the non-dualistic teachings of the Upanishads, where the self, Atman, is realized as identical to Brahman. In Katha Upanishad, one of the principal Upanishads, narrates the dialogue between Nachiketa and Yama, the god of death. It revolves around profound philosophical questions, especially concerning liberation and the nature of self, highlighting self-realization. In chapter 2, verse 18, the young boy raises some important questions to the Lord of Death. What is the nature of self? And another important question from Nachiketa is, what leads to liberation? The liberation-related themes in Kathopanishad includes inquiry into life after death, nature as self, distinction between body, mind and self, detachment from desires, choice between transient pleasure, prayas, and enduring good, shreyas, and about detachment as the path to liberation. In a nutshell, Yama explains that all pleasures are fleeting and the only worthy pursuit is self-realization, which alone grants immortality. Mandukya Upanishad is the shortest of all Upanishads, in prose format and comes under Atharva Veda. It is the sixth in the list of 108 Upanishads. It is also often referred Upanishad with reference to philosophical relationship between Hinduism and Buddhism. Mandukya Upanishad explores liberation through the understanding of the four states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and Turiya, the transcendental state. Turiya represents pure consciousness, the state of liberation where one realizes the unity of Atman and Brahman. Lord Rama and Hanuman in Muktikopanishad discuss various aspects of mukti. During conversations, Rama recommends Mandukya Upanishad as the first among the 108 Upanishads. This Upanishad has commentaries from Adi Shankara, Gaudapada, Madhvacharya, and from other commentators. Prashna Upanishad. This Upanishad is in prose format and belongs to the Atharva Veda. This contains 6 main questions and many sub-questions and discussions on the answers. Sage Pipalada gives the answers. It comes under the classification Mukhya Upanishad. The Upanishad includes discussion on Om and the concept of moksha. It examines the nature of prana, life force, and its relation to ultimate liberation. Adi Shankara and Madhvacharya have given commentaries on Prashna Upanishad. This Upanishad highlights education system and the role of teachers during the Vedic period. Kaivalya Upanishad explicitly discusses Kaivalya, liberation. It is from the Atharva Veda and comes under the classification of minor Upanishad. And also as Shiva Upanishad, it is listed as the 12th Upanishad in the list of 108 Upanishads. This Upanishad is structured in a question and answer format as a discourse. Here, the teacher is Lord Parameshti and student is Rigveda teacher Aswalyana. It talks about Brahma Vidya in chapter 1 verse 1 and the verse 18 in chapter 1 talks about liberation. Swami Vivekananda deeply engaged with the Upanishads, seeing them as the highest expression of spiritual truth. On liberation, moksha, he drew directly from the Advaita Vedanta tradition and emphasized the Upanishadic vision of the divine self. Swami Vivekananda says, "Blessed we are that we are the children of the Upanishads." Quoting the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad, Swamiji often said, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached, which is from Kathopanishad 1:3-14. Liberation is the breaking of all limitations. Vivekananda reinterpreted liberation to include active service, seeing selfless action as a path to self-realization. Krishna's teaching on liberation in the Bhagavad Gita shows how it aligns with the Upanishads. Krishna blends the wisdom of the Upanishad with a living path where knowledge, action, and devotion lead the seeker to liberation. Few key takeaways could be Bhakti as a supreme path. Krishna says, "Surrender to me, I will liberate you." Gita 18:66 introduces loving devotion as a powerful and accessible path. Liberation as union with the Supreme. Gita 5:24. He who is happy within, who rejoices within, and who is illumined within, that yogi attains Brahman. This is directly aligned with Chandogya Upanishad 6:8-7. Liberation through detached action. Without attachment, perform your duty, for by performing action without attachment, man reaches the Supreme. Bhagavad Gita 3:19. Karma Yoga aligns with Upanishadic emphasis on inner renunciation. Gita 18:66 Ultimate Message. Abandon all duties and surrender to me alone. I will liberate you from all sins. Do not grieve. Krishna's vision of liberation affirms the Upanishadic idea. The soul is divine, and realization of that truth is liberation. But unlike the purely contemplative path, Krishna integrates action, wisdom, and devotion, offering a path that is both inner and active, personal and universal, also without any ambiguity. To summarize, each of the Upanishads presents a unique perspective on liberation and makes it clear that the Upanishads offer a profound and layered understanding of liberation. In the Advaita tradition, texts like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad speaks of moksha as the realization that the self and Brahman are not two but one. It is through self-knowledge and the veil of illusion lifts, and what remains is pure, undivided awareness. In contrast, the Dvaita school interprets the same scriptures through a different perspective. Here, liberation is not about merging with the divine, but about remaining distinct yet eternally close to God, in a state of loving devotion and service. So while Advaita speaks of union, Dvaita celebrates relationship. The Upanishads, in their poetic openness, make space for both visions for the humanity, reminding that the path to liberation may vary, but its essence is always rooted in deep self-inquiry, humility, devotion, and a turning inward toward the eternal. Pranams and heartfelt gratitude to the sages, teachers, scholars, writers, and publishers, past and present, who continue to persevere and share the sacred teachings of the Upanishads, and who have carried the flame of the Upanishads into the modern world. Through thoughtful translations and inspired interpretations, they have made these timeless truths speak in the language of the many, especially through the medium of English. Thank you all. Namaste.